Now, Central Louisiana's most up-to-the-minute news, sports, and weather. This is Live at 5.
Another candidate has entered the race for governor. Good afternoon, I'm Rob Johnson.
And I'm Mary Ann Clary. Former State Banking Commissioner Fred Dent says he'll be a candidate in the October election. Dent says state residents don't care for Governor Romer or his challengers and want a fresh alternative. Challengers include former Governor Edwin Edwards, State Representative David Duke, Public Service Commissioner Louis Lambert, Kenner Mayor Aaron Broussard, and Franklin Mayor Sam Jones.
In other news, a House committee has approved a bill to make life easier for returning Desert Storm veterans. For the most part, the bill gives them a break on various state laws. It also authorizes private and public employers to grant certain employment and retirement benefits to the reservists and National Guardsmen. The bill has been sent to the House floor for action.
The schools in Rapides Parish need new math books, but there isn't enough money in the instructional fund to pay for them. One board member believes the money should be transferred from a special account into the textbook fund. It would amount to $383,000. Ruth O'Quinn says once the school board approves the transfer, she will ask the legislature for help.
And I have a list of the changes in the cost of math textbooks. They have more than doubled. And we're going to be in great need of additional funds. So hopefully, the board will vote to lobby the legislature to try to get some increase statewide in the textbook fund.
O'Quinn is also pushing for standardized textbooks in all parish schools. Still to come, if you own a convertible, there's a new toy you might want to get.
And some good news for ports on the Red River. Stay with us.
Good, the movie's starting.
Oh, I hope she remembers to walk the dog.
I'm sure she will after she left him out in the rain the last time.
Yeah, she's learned her lesson.
Sure.
Right. Let's call.
With South Central Bell's call waiting, you won't be frustrated by busy signals or miss an important call.
Honey, you did walk the dog.
It's perfect for life's little emergencies.
I don't think it's necessary.
Make your life a touch easier. Call on us. Order now and save the $22.99 connection charge.
This is a TV5 special business upbeat report. Good business news for Central Louisiana.
I am optimistic about Central Louisiana because I believe this is a great place to live and raise a family. I expanded the services of Wallace Eye Surgery by adding the Cataract Center, a facility designed for outpatient eye surgery. Community response has been overwhelming. I eagerly anticipate the future as we enter a new decade of service here in my hometown.
This has been a KALB-TV business upbeat report.
State Transportation Head Neil Wagner says ports along the Red River will be included in the priority funding list this year. Wagner says last year funding for ports fell well below expectations, but expects legislation to change that this year. Wagner says the Red River is important, especially so for Central Louisiana.
We're real excited about what the Red River's going to bring in the way of new jobs and commerce to this part of the state. These are exciting times for us, and I think we're going to be remiss if we don't tie our modes of transportation together and put major emphasis on waterway transportation while at the same time we rebuild our highway system.
The Port Authority of Alexandria hopes to receive funding this year to begin construction on a warehouse at the port.
Rob, have you noticed in this beautiful weather you see more and more convertibles out on the street?
That's right, and right now I wish I had one.
I know, and you may have thought the days of convertibles were over.
Now there are devices that will even close the top for you in the rain. Reporter Bob Mayer shows us how.
When General Motors announced it was ending production of the last American convertible back in 1976, it was the end of an era, or so we thought. Convertibles are back with a vengeance. Top-down driving is carefree driving, but caring for that convertible when you're not in it can be a problem. One good sudden rainstorm can ruin a convertible's interior or cause at least enough damage to soak an owner's pocketbook. But now, there's a way to walk away from your convertible, top down, without giving Mother Nature a second thought. It's called Rain Free Plus, a rain sensor designed for convertibles and cars with sunroofs or even power windows.
The rain sensor located on the trunk in the case of a convertible will detect the rain or any moisture and trigger the top to automatically close and the windows to close to make sure the car stays dry.
In fact, Rain-Free Plus does more than just close a top or windows when it rains. It'll do just the opposite if the interior of your car gets too hot.
It will detect the interior temperature so that when it gets over 95 degrees, it will then crack open your windows and your sunroof for you if you would like it to keep the car comfortable inside.
Built-in security devices prevent anything from opening when you don't want it to or from closing if something's in the way. Neat? Yes, but it'll cost you. Retail price, just under $1,000. Bob Mayer for NBC News.
Sounds like it would be worth the investment. Well, Nurses Career Day will be held at the Veterans Medical Center on Friday, April 19th. The Veterans Affairs Office will host the program, which is designed to promote nursing career development with the department. All persons interested in a nursing career with the VA are urged to attend the program, which will be held in the auditorium of Building 8 from 1 until 4, and once again, that will be Friday, April 19th. Now let's go to Steve Coco for a look at what's coming up at 6. Steve?
Okay, Marianne, at 6 o'clock, there won't be a runoff after all for the Evangeline Parish Sheriff's Office. Nursing Home Administrator Cecil Reed withdrew from the race yesterday, saying retired state trooper Wayne Moran just had too big of a lead. State Highway Department head Neil Wagner says the state can expect a substantial increase in money from the feds. That seems to be good news. And the Rapides Parish Police Jury met this afternoon talking about everything from jails to radio waves. That and more coming up at 6 o'clock. Now let's check and see what's coming up on the nightly news.
I'm Tom Brokaw. Tonight on NBC Nightly News, The Daily Difference. What works in America? What works, it turns out, is a welfare reform program that takes people off welfare and puts them into real jobs. They work. That's tonight on NBC Nightly News.
Ethma Odom continues her series on Monterey this afternoon with a look at that community's Christian church.
As Ethma found out from the town's historian, the Christian church has served several denominations at the same time since the mid-1800s. Here's a special report.
We're at the Monterey Christian Church. Our guest is a member of that church, Thelma Girlinghouse. Miss Girlinghouse, Christian church is probably the oldest American type church, isn't it?
That's right. It's the oldest American-born church.
How did it come about, do you think?
It came about because the pioneers who moved westward after Daniel Boone began his movement, well, different denominations. There were a few Baptists, few Methodists, few Catholics, and maybe one or two which I don't recall having heard. And they decided they needed a meeting house for their religious services out there in the Piney Woods after they'd left the coast where they already had these nice churches. So they immediately cut pine trees and made them a church building. Then they said, oh, we have to name it. Well, one good old Baptist deacon said, Baptist, Pioneer Baptist Church. Oh, no. That wouldn't do, said this Methodist deacon. I'm Methodist. We couldn't be Baptist. Then maybe another one had another reason. So finally, one fellow was brave enough to say, no, we'll just all be Christians and call it the Christian Church. So since that time, that was the beginning of the Christian Church, or Disciples Christ, as it is now known.
It came here to Concordia Parish when?
Back in the 1840s, it was one of the 5 oldest churches in Louisiana. Alexandria had one before. Cheneyville had one before in Rapides Parish. And there were probably one in Manny, Louisiana, one of those western parishes.
Who were some of the early families in this church?
C.B. Burley, Leonard Lane Hart, Jesse Lane Hart, S.B. Cross, and S.P. Crane, Sr.
How did the preachers come here?
They usually came to Jonesville or Vidalia from maybe Mississippi or up as far as Kentucky, and managed to get to this isolated area by boat most of the time. There was a little mail boat that used to run from Jonesville down Black River, where this church is located, which is now Black River Lake, of course. And Then they would stay in the homes of different members until they converted many of them and established a big enough congregation that they could build their own churches.
Did this religion believe in immersion?
Definitely.
And did they use Black River Lake or Black River?
That's right. That was the only baptistry we had at that time.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Girlinghouse. For special report, I'm Esma Odom in Monterey, Louisiana.
Rob, you remember your little visitor yesterday?
Yes, I sure do. There was one came back
Oh,
today.
here's another one.
Oh, my goodness.
I was told to get your goat again. Isn't that cute?
You got my goat. Where? Did they give this to you?
Uh-huh, to give to you.
Now I've got matching goats.
You've gotten your goat again, and this continues through tomorrow. Get your goat, American Red Cross.
Get your goat. Hey, well, they're getting a couple free plugs here, those lucky guys. Well, the weather was nice again today.
Sure was. It was a beautiful day. I wanted to play hooky.
Ronald's going to tell us if it's going to continue the nice weather, but that's going to come right here.
This was a beautiful day. This whole week has been nice.
It really has been.
We
perfect.
had Saturday kind of cool, breezy, Sunday beautiful, Monday beautiful, and Tuesday beautiful.
And it's going to continue, right?
Well, not too bad, not too bad. We have a little rain in the forecast, but for the most part, not a lot as we saw last week. So right now, there is certainly no rain out there under sunny skies. The temperature is just beautiful, 71 degrees here at the station. Southeast wind has diminished somewhat, now out of the southeast at 10 miles per hour. Relative humidity still nice and low, 33%, 30.01 on the barometer, and no rain. Taking a look at national temperatures, most of the nation enjoying very nice temperatures from the northern plains southward into the southeast, temperatures in the 60s and 70s. It is warm in the southwest, in the 80s in central and southern Texas, nice and warm in the 80s. The only cool readings we do see are in the northeast and out in the Rocky Mountain states where the temperatures are in the 40s. Putting the clouds into motion right now, we have one system entering into the Pacific Northwest, moving into the northern Rockies. But look at this. This is just a classic example of an area of low pressure being fed by the Gulf of Mexico. You can see the counterclockwise flow around it, and it is moving off toward the northeast. So it's not moving our way. What is moving our way is some low cloudiness. As you can see, now moving into eastern Texas. That will move on in later on tonight and into the morning hours, and then we do have a chance of rain in the forecast, but a lot of warm temperatures. We'll look at that forecast right after this. On the surface, the major area of low pressure right now over western Kansas. I drew this in as a cold front, but it really isn't a cold front. What it is a delineation between moist air to the east and the dry air to the west. By tomorrow, that will move eastward, kind of break apart a little bit, and we'll see the major rain taking place in the upper Midwest, tapering off down into the south over Louisiana. Therefore, we can expect to see just isolated showers and thunderstorms. The same holds true for Thursday, just a slight chance of an isolated shower or a thunderstorm. The main rain, again, will be in the upper Mississippi Valley into the southern Great Lakes. Temperature-wise, it'll be very nice and warm again tomorrow. Look at the 80s creeping up into the central part of Texas, a whole bunch of 70s throughout the southern half of the country, kind of cooler up in the northern Rockies, the Cascades, and look at this, another pocket of 70s moving through the central plains. For Thursday's highs, springtime weather is in control of just about the entire nation, and we are included in that. For tonight, it will be, well, mostly clear skies, breezy and mild, 53 degrees the overnight low temperature. For tomorrow, becoming mostly cloudy as those clouds from eastern Texas move their way into Louisiana. Temperature is 77 degrees. Southeast wind at 12 miles per hour and a 30% chance of rain. For Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, cloudy skies. Thursday, again, a 30% chance of rain, 75 and 60 for the temperatures. Friday may see a lingering shower or two, 77 and 56. And then Saturday, high of 80 degrees, low of 60s under sunny skies. So it looks like we're going to see another great weekend. And even for the rest of the week, not too bad. A few showers here or there, nice and warm. All in all, not too bad.
A 5-star forecast.
How many weekends in a row we've had great weather? Almost like 3 now, I think.
Yeah, we're stringing them out together.
That's great. Thanks, Ron.
All right.
And when we come back, we'll take a look at business.
Today's stock market quotes are brought to you by the Investment Exchange at Rapides Bank.
In business news today, one of the few microbreweries in the Southeast is expanding. This makes the third time in 6 years that Abita Brewing Company has increased its size. Abita brewed about 46,500 gallons of its European-style beer when it started in 1986. 3 big fermenting tanks, which arrived yesterday, bring its annual capacity up to 195,300 gallons a year. Further expansion is planned. AT&T has unveiled a cordless telephone for small businesses. The Partner cordless phone is designed to work with the Partner communications system and has a suggested retail price of about $400. Well, you wouldn't know the country's deep in recession by looking at the so-called audiobook industry. As Jeff Lachey reports, publishers are selling more of the cassettes than ever and planning to expand their distribution.
Audiobooks, also known as books on tape, have become a true sign of the times, catering to the busy consumer.
There is a product available for them to listen to when they're commuting, when they're tired of the radio, or when they're doing something else and they can't be reading a book, but they'd like to have a good story.
The once obscure audiobooks now take up entire sections of bookstores, and the publishers hope to expand their distribution to record and video retailers. The Audio Publishers Association says sales are growing by about 25% a year.
It's impossible to say exactly how fast the audiobook industry is growing because many of the publishers are privately held companies and don't release their sales figures. But industry observers say the business has yet to peak.
Certainly the number of titles, scope of titles, and say level of packaging and professionalism is on a steady increase.
So-called self-help books on tape are said to be selling particularly well, filled with subliminal messages and self-hypnosis techniques. Fiction audiobooks have grown so popular that publishers such as Simon & Schuster, Random House, and Bantam are releasing them around the same time as the hardcovers.
Right now, it's a bestseller business. It's brand name authors.
A lot of times they ask, well, is the author reading this book? And most of the time when that is the case, they are even more excited about getting the cassette. And to get the book, they want to get the cassette so they can get a feeling of what the author is trying to get across in their book.
But John Zinzer says cassette sales have actually helped, not hurt, the original printed book.
The people who are buying audiobooks are the people who are buying books. So in no way should audio be seen as a substitute.
And when might we see, or hear for that matter, audiobooks on CD? Well, industry observers say that's only a matter of time. For NBC News, I'm Jeff Lachey.
Now let's take a look at today's
We want the children to learn early on what littering is all about and help us in the cleanup efforts.
It looks like the weather will be great Saturday for the Trash Bash. And once again, if you'd like to go out and participate, 8 o'clock, Alexandria Mall, breakfast included, a nice little rally there.
Lunch too.
All right, thank you, Jill, for being our
Thanks
guest
for
today. And Rob and I will be back after this.
Alexandria Iron and Supply salutes the brave women and men on their return home from Operation Desert Storm. Thank you for your sacrifices. We're glad you're home. Alexandria Iron and Supply, recycling scrap iron metal for over 50 years.
So you think you could stand to clean up the city?
Yes, I'd have to start with my own apartment, though, like I said before, but then I would be willing to branch out and see where else I might.
Well, I tell you, it'd be a fun day. It'd be a fun day out there with your family.
It looks like the weather's going to agree, too, so it'll be a great day for people to get out there and to clean up the city. It's very important.
Good fun.
That's right. Well, thank you for joining us today.
And coming up now, NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.